Hey guys, I'm Cody Wood, and I'm a student here at Texas Tech, and this is my roommate, Clay Kraus. He's also here, a student at Texas Tech, and today we're going to be discussing the mental health of student athletes. And since I was a former student athlete at Hardin-Simmons, I played receiver there for a year. I'm going to give my opinion on it, and then we'll get Clay's outlook because he's just a student here at Tech. So, Clay, just give us like a normal daily schedule for you. Like, what do you do on a daily basis?
It's pretty basic. Wake up. I kind of have my classes scheduled in the morning. Wake up and I go to school and attend classes, whether they're online or in person, and then transition into work mostly during the afternoons, and then come home and do some homework. That's really about it.
Yep. So I'm basically on the same page you are now, but I just wanted to give you a little outlook on like what I was doing at Hardin-Simmons, and just so you could relive that. So usually 4 out of 5 days of the week we're waking up for weights 6 in the morning, so you're waking up at really 5:15, 5:30 to get to weights, and then you have to build your schedule around the weights and practice and film and study hall and all that. So we'd go from weights, and then I had most of my classes in the morning, so I'd go from weights, come back, shower, eat, and then I'd go to classes, be done around probably 1 or 2 right after lunch, and then we'd go to practice from 2 p.m. to about 4:30. Right after that, we'd have film from about 5 to 6, and then go grab some dinner, and then we had a study hall at 7 p.m. Every Tuesday and Thursday. And then, after all that, I went home and got to do my homework. So, it's pretty busy, obviously. So, what I wanted to ask you, based off of that, is like when we're comparing the mental health of student athletes versus, I'm not talking about like D3 football, I'm talking about like overall. When we compare that of student athletes to just normal athletes, do you think that the rep of the student athlete kind of gets swept under the rug, or do you think they look at evenly, or not at all, or what's your outlook on that?
Kind of across the board, whether D1, D2, D3, whatever sport you're playing. I think athletes overall kind of have a stigma of having a little bit more mental toughness, and so you look at, you're getting up 5 a.m., 5:15 a.m. I'm pushing to 7, 8 a.m. And by the time you're getting home, I'm almost completing my homework.
Yeah.
And so it's when you look at stuff like that, I think sometimes there's almost an expectation towards student athletes to be able to handle more, and I think they're naturally expected more.
Well, that's a good point. So adding on to that is just, so like even that's best case scenario, is I do all that and then I get to come home and, and I'm doing homework. But for like certain D1 athletes, they're coming from poverty, they're coming from low-income families, so when they get done with all that, they don't get to go home and do homework. They have to go to work. And I had a bunch of buddies at Hardin-Simmons that would go to work until midnight, 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then get home, do their homework, and then they're waking up at 5. That's not a bunch of sleep, and that can weigh heavily on a human being regardless of who you are. And the stigma to add on that of like student athletes having the stigma, I repeated myself, but having the tougher mental state because it's expected because they're athletes, I also think that adds more pressure to them as an individual.
And I mean, it doesn't matter how mentally tough you are. If you're averaging 2 to 3 hours of sleep,
yeah, it's gonna break you
physically,
down.
human, like just being a human, it's gonna break anyone down.
So I have this statistic for you, and I just want to hear what you have to say about it. So there was an NCAA survey, and they did like 100,000 college athletes or something. And it was 33% of college students experience significant symptoms of depression, anxiety, or other mental health conditions. So that's every college student, regardless of what you're doing.
Me and you.
Yep. And then among that group, 30%. So 30% of that 33% seek help. As
Of overall college students.
overall college
Okay.
students. But when they compared that to college students, 10%.
Who are athletes?
10% who are athletes seek help. So my question to you is, why do you think that's such a significant difference? And do you think it has to do with the stigma of having that tougher mental health?
Yes and no. I mean, you know, obviously, as we're going to take you for example, you're playing a higher level physical game that requires toughness, both physically and mentally, to just play the game.
Yep.
To just get where you were,
Mm-hmm.
and to take that mental toughness and almost turn it around on yourself and battle yourself with what you're going through. I think they struggle there. I think we can go back to what you touched on earlier, time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Definitely.
seeking help is talking to other people. Seeking help is taking time out of your day to help yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Where does that time fit in when you're 5 to 7?
Exactly, that's a great point. And I think that has a lot to do with it. I think that that stigma is the main part of it, where if I am a college athlete, I've been doing this, if I go and I seek out help, what are my peers going to think about me? What are my coaches going to think? Are they going to think that I've gone from mentally tough to mentally weak because I'm going through some stuff and I need to talk to somebody about it, get some help about it? Or that's when it becomes more mental on your personal self, and you have to realize if you want to go through that or if you just want to hide it, which obviously with that 10% most everyone does, they hide it and just go on with your day. And I think that is a huge part of the mental health of student athletes today, is just they don't want to be perceived as weak and mentally weak and all that. And so like, let's for instance say you're a regular college student and you have a big exam on a Friday and you're stressing about it and you don't think you're going to do well and all this other stuff, and people feel bad for you. They're like, well, it's alright, man, like just study hard, like do good on your test Monday or Friday, blah blah blah. Well, that same class, that same test Friday, there's a D1 quarterback that has a game or practice or whatever it is that night, and say it is a game, say it's at a D1, you're a quarterback and game's on the line, you're driving down to win the game, you throw a pick, game over, it's your fault, quote unquote. Nobody asks you how you do on the test the next day. They ask you, what were you doing? Why'd you throw that interception with the game on the line? And obviously, like, in that quarterback's mind, he's not thinking about school during this time. He's thinking about playing the game. But with all that negative energy that flows to him from other students and other fans and all their whole fan base and stuff, I think that puts an enormity of pressure on an 18-year-old kid. And nobody sees that, I don't think. I think they think, oh, they're just doing football. Why didn't he make this? Why didn't he? Well, the same college kid who was getting all this love about having a test on Friday, the same kid in the same class is getting bagged on for his performance in a football game. And I think that is just something that goes completely over people's heads, and I don't think they realize that. And that's just kind of the message I'm trying to get across, is we don't really recognize that these are 18-year-old kids, 19-year-old kids, 20-year-old kids. We
Being
look at
thrown
them,
in a spotlight that almost consumes their life.
that no one else knows about except them.
Exactly.
A regular student at a college